You ever notice how the guy who doesn't chase somehow ends up being the one she can't stop thinking about? It's not the loud guy, not the flashy one, not the overly romantic dude pouring his heart out on day 2. It's the calm, grounded man, the one who doesn't try too hard, the one who keeps his distance but still leaves a powerful impact. Today, I'm going to break down why women fall for the guy who doesn't do what most men are taught to do. This isn't about playing games. It's about understanding true masculine power through the lens of Stoicism. So if you're tired of being the one who always gives more, always chases, and always ends up confused, listen closely. This might just change the way you move forever. He doesn't beg for attention or validation. A man grounded in Stoicism doesn't seek approval, especially not from women. He understands that constantly trying to prove his worth is a form of emotional slavery. When you chase validation, you're giving away your power, and women can sense that. Most men fall into the trap of over-texting, always being available, always looking for a sign that they're appreciated. But this behavior screams insecurity. A Stoic man, on the other hand, moves differently. He doesn't flood her phone with messages. He doesn't try to be funny or charming to earn her praise. He doesn't fish for compliments or ask, "Do you still like me?" Instead, he stays rooted in his own self-worth. He lets his actions speak. His time is valuable, and he won't waste it trying to entertain someone who hasn't earned his attention. This restraint is powerful, not because it's manipulative, but because it communicates confidence. He's not playing hard to get. He genuinely values his own peace more than external validation. That inner stillness becomes magnetic. While other guys try to impress her, he's impressing himself. He's building. He's growing. And when a woman sees that he doesn't need her attention, it flips the dynamic. She starts to wonder why. She starts to lean in. She becomes curious. The more silent he is, the more loud his presence feels. This is the paradox of masculine energy. The less you chase, the more you attract. And it all starts by no longer begging for what you know you already are. Enough. He doesn't overinvest emotionally too soon. This is where most men fall apart, especially in the early stages of attraction. The moment a woman shows them a bit of attention or interest, they go all in emotionally. They start imagining a future together. They open up too much. They confess feelings that haven't even had time to develop properly. But a Stoic man moves differently. He understands that emotions are fleeting, and what feels intense in the moment could be an illusion. He doesn't attach his sense of identity to being liked. He doesn't fantasize about a woman he barely knows, projecting hopes or dreams onto her, like she's the solution to his loneliness. Instead, he takes a step back and observes. He watches how she behaves over time, how she handles challenges, how she respects his time and energy. This emotional discipline doesn't make him cold, it makes him clear. He knows that real connection takes time, and he refuses to skip the necessary steps just because his emotions are excited. He also understands that giving too much too soon often leads to imbalance. The more you invest without reciprocation, the more you lose your power. Women don't respect men who emotionally unravel at the first sign of attention. They're drawn to mystery, to challenge, to the man who keeps a piece of himself guarded until she earns it. A Stoic man keeps his heart protected not out of fear, but out of wisdom. He doesn't need to prove his emotional depth in the first week. He doesn't rush to call her the one or declare undying love. He gives her space to show up, to prove herself, to reveal whether she's truly aligned with his life and values. When a man holds back emotionally, he maintains his clarity. He doesn't confuse lust with love or potential with reality. He allows the connection to evolve naturally without forcing it. And because of that restraint, he becomes the man she wants to open up to. He becomes a safe space, a mystery, and a standard she's not used to. While other men pour out everything and then wonder why she loses interest, The Stoic man holds his emotional cards close, and in doing so, he becomes the one she thinks about when the noise settles. He doesn't compromise his standards or boundaries. A Stoic man has taken the time to define his values, his non-negotiables, and the kind of energy he allows into his life. He doesn't mold himself to fit into someone else's world, especially not for the sake of romantic validation. While most men become overly flexible the moment they sense chemistry, he remains grounded. He understands that attraction without alignment is a trap. No matter how beautiful or charming a woman may be, if she disrespects his boundaries, if she brings chaos instead of peace, or if she tries to manipulate him emotionally, he will walk away without second-guessing himself, not out of pride, but out of deep self-respect. He's not interested in short-term pleasure that costs long-term peace. Many men tolerate disrespect in subtle ways, accepting flaky behavior, tolerating backhanded comments, or entertaining games because they're afraid of losing her. But a Stoic man knows that what you allow is what will continue. He knows that people test you not with words, but with actions. And when a woman senses that he won't tolerate anything less than what he deserves, her entire posture toward him shifts. She no longer sees him as another man she can mold or manipulate. She sees him as a force, someone with a spine, someone who is clear on what he expects, not just from others, but from himself. This unshakable frame is what makes a Stoic man powerful in relationships. He's not looking for a partner to complete him. He's looking for someone who complements the life he's already built. And if someone doesn't meet that standard, he doesn't beg, argue, or plead. He simply disengages. He knows that love without respect is just dependency. And while other men bend, break, and compromise themselves to keep a woman around, the Stoic man holds the line. That self-possession doesn't repel women, it fascinates them. Because deep down, every woman wants to know that the man she's with won't be moved by beauty alone, that he's governed by principles, not impulses. And when she realizes that he won't trade his values for her validation, she begins to see him as a man worth rising for. He embraces solitude instead of forcing connection. In a world where loneliness terrifies most people, the Stoic man stands apart. He isn't afraid of his own company. He doesn't view being alone as a punishment, but as a necessary part of growth, self-reflection, and inner mastery. While others seek distraction through endless social interactions, shallow flings, or temporary emotional highs, he finds peace in silence. He uses solitude as a sharpening stone to clarify his thoughts, to reconnect with his purpose, and to strengthen his emotional resilience. He's not desperate to fill the silence with someone else's presence, because he knows that rushing into connections just to avoid feeling alone always leads to deeper emptiness down the road. This quiet confidence is what makes him deeply attractive. Most women are used to men who can't be alone, the ones who jump from relationship to relationship, who constantly need reassurance, who can't sit still without validation. But the Stoic man is different. He creates an aura of self-sufficiency that is both rare and magnetic. He walks through life with a sense of fullness, not because he has everything, but because he lacks nothing. His happiness doesn't come from constant stimulation. It comes from alignment with his inner values and goals. This is why he doesn't chase people. He doesn't send message after message trying to get her attention. He doesn't beg for love or try to force chemistry. He lets things unfold naturally because he knows what's meant for him will never require begging. When a woman interacts with a man like this, she can feel the difference. He's not trying to impress her or win her over. His energy doesn't scream, "Please pick me." Instead, it radiates calmness, depth, and emotional maturity. She can feel that he's not rushing to make her a part of his life, and that makes her want to earn that place. It's in the quiet moments where he doesn't chase, doesn't force, and doesn't pressure that she begins to feel drawn in. Because unlike others, he's not acting out of fear of being alone. He's acting from a place of strength where solitude is his sanctuary. And that space he creates, where connection must be genuine and not just convenient, becomes a rare invitation, one that only those who truly align with him will be able to accept. He doesn't get triggered or react emotionally. In a world where emotional reactivity is the norm, where people are quick to lash out, argue, or get defensive, the Stoic man stands out as an immovable presence. He's not easily shaken by moods, drama, or manipulation. When a woman tests him, and she will, by pulling away, acting cold, or even saying something provocative to get a rise out of him, he doesn't flinch. He's mastered the art of pause. He knows that every reaction is a window into your self-control, and if you can be provoked, then you can be controlled. This doesn't mean he suppresses how he feels. It means he's in charge of how he expresses it. He responds with clarity, not impulse. He slows things down instead of escalating, and in doing so, he creates emotional safety without becoming emotionally dependent. Women instinctively test men not to be cruel, but to see who they truly are beneath the surface. Most men fail these tests. They get angry, they sulk, they over-explain, or they try to buy back affection with words and actions rooted in fear. But the Stoic man sees these tests for what they are, opportunities to reveal strength, not cracks. When something disrespectful happens, he doesn't raise his voice or beg for understanding. He simply sets the tone through behavior. His silence can be more piercing than any argument, and his refusal to engage in emotional chaos sends a loud message. He won't participate in anything that costs his inner peace. This emotional discipline rewires the dynamic. Women are not used to a man who can sit with discomfort without reacting, who can hear difficult truths without spiraling, who can see a situation clearly even when emotions are high. That restraint, that power of holding the line while staying grounded, creates a deep sense of respect. She begins to feel safe, not because he's soft, but because he's stable. He doesn't try to control the situation, he controls himself. And in that restraint, there's an unmistakable power. It's the kind of power that doesn't need to speak loudly, because its presence is already felt. When she realizes she can't emotionally manipulate him, when she sees that her moods don't dictate his behavior, she begins to trust him in a way that goes beyond attraction. She begins to respect him. And when a woman respects you deeply, she connects with you differently. The Stoic man knows this. That's why he doesn't let his emotions lead the way. He lets his values lead instead. He doesn't make her the center of his universe. This is perhaps one of the most defining traits of a Stoic man, his unwavering commitment to his mission over his emotions. He understands that purpose comes before pleasure, and that no woman, no matter how beautiful or desirable, should ever become the foundation of his identity. While most men lose themselves in relationships, prioritizing her over everything, putting their dreams on hold just to spend more time with her, compromising their routines, their friendships, their health, their goals. The Stoic man never strays from his path. He's not heartless, but he is clear. He loves deeply, but not blindly. He connects, but not at the cost of himself. He chooses her, but never needs her. This kind of emotional detachment is not about coldness. It's about balance. He's not addicted to the emotional highs of romance. He doesn't crave the constant stimulation of being wanted or the ego boost of attention. He thrives in discipline. He wakes up with intention, not infatuation. He maintains his gym schedule, his reading, his work, his silence, even when love enters his life. He doesn't get lost in her world. He invites her into his. And if she can't adapt, if she demands to be the sun while he becomes a satellite, he quietly distances himself. because he knows that a man who revolves around a woman eventually forgets how to stand tall. Women feel this energy immediately. They're used to being idolized, to being pursued relentlessly, to having men adjust their entire identity just to fit into their emotional needs. But the Stoic man is different. His world is already full. His cup is not empty, waiting for her to pour into it. He's not asking, how can I impress her? He's asking, does she align with my path? This shift in mindset changes everything. Suddenly she finds herself trying to earn his attention, his respect, his time. She senses that he's not one of those men who will cancel his workout just to talk for hours. He won't skip his responsibilities to please her. And that creates polarity. That space between his grounded focus and her emotional fluidity generates attraction on a deep level. She realizes that she's dealing with a man who has standards, priorities, and direction. A man who won't give up his identity to keep her. A man who knows that relationships should enhance your life, not replace your purpose. And this realization hits different. It makes her curious. It makes her want to understand him, to be close to him. Because she knows that if he ever does make space for her, it wasn't out of boredom, loneliness, or neediness. It was a conscious decision. And that, in her eyes, makes his presence infinitely more valuable. So in a world where most men chase, overgive, and lose themselves trying to win love, the Stoic man moves differently. He doesn't seek validation, doesn't fold under pressure, and never makes a woman his purpose. And ironically, that's exactly why she falls, because strength is attractive, mystery is magnetic, and emotional self-control is rare. If you want to be the man she remembers, the man she respects, and the man she truly desires, stop doing what every other man does. Stand firm, stay calm, live with purpose, and let her come to you.